Episode 15, baby.
15.
We did it.
This is 5 more than we've ever done. Right?
Yes, no, we did.
Yeah,
we made
see?
it last podcast. We made it to episode 10.
We made it. It was a decade of shows.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Decade.
Deca.
Yeah.
We'll say Deca.
No, this is the episode that I was like, Kyle, by episode 15, because like we started the podcast.
We need to be millionaires.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going with.
Yeah.
You got me. No, I was like, we should have it more dialed in. Because like in the beginning, we were like, let's just start it. Let's just go. You know what? Whatever happens, happens. And we're dialing it in. And episode 15, I was like, I want to start doing it, more stuff, have it more tightened. So right now, the people listening don't know, but we are actually video recording this podcast episode.
We're on video.
Yeah.
This will be on our OnlyFans. And if anybody wants to make our dream of being millionaires come true, just come make a donation.
Yeah.
To our Patreon or
I was going to say,
OnlyFans.
you know what? Patreon, that's a thing. We put that out there and we've had it out there since episode 1. 0 patrons.
Yeah, but we're for as much as we know about marketing and have done in marketing, we are just not good at marketing.
That is the thing. I think
certain things.
What is it about? I don't know, about I think
it's the
new
podcast.
venture. Yeah.
I just don't know how to market a podcast.
Yeah. I know. I think we're starting to get ideas for it though.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you know what? Like we all listen, or we both listen to like the podcast episode before it goes out, and it's like,
Yeah, you get a gist.
We get a gist of what we're doing. And so this last time, the last episode that actually 2 episodes ago, technically, I just gave a little bit of timeline. But I listened to it and I was like, okay, let me think about ideas to post. Mm-hmm. I just started doing that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a learning curve.
I think by just saying that we're going to kind of wing it, we just didn't have a good plan. But
Yeah.
I'm like actually fine with it.
I am too.
The more episodes that we put out, the more I feel good about the longevity of this. Because we've always been like, we're probably going to quit after this episode, like in previous stuff. And now I'm just like, this is just part of our habit. We just meet and we record.
You know what else has helped me with that? Is not looking at the downloads.
Yeah.
Because I was, for the first several, I was like, ooh, how many downloads have we had? Ooh, 700. Let's make a post. Ooh, 1,000. Hey.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I just get on there
it.
to post the podcast and do that part, and then I just shut it down.
After 1,000 downloads, I was like, all right. That's really like, that was the big hurdle I saw.
Yeah.
After this, I'm like, we're probably at 10,000.
Yeah. Well, no. I don't look, but we're at
Per
1,294. I don't ever look. But what I think we need to do is we need to start branching out to other podcasts, even locally. Talk about to Crude Mag.
Yeah.
He'd be a good guy to
I
talk
just
to.
actually, So
I saw that.
I posted on social media. I listened to Crude Magazine's Crude Conversations, which is a local Alaskan podcast. So he's basically finding interesting Alaskans and interviewing them. And he is an amazing interviewer.
Yeah. We haven't gotten that call yet. So.
No, I'm not expecting it. We're not interested.
I've been checking my spam folder just to see if I've maybe missed a few of his emails coming to me. But
no.
He's probably spelling my last name wrong. That's my guess.
Reading. So it should be 2 E's.
He's doing R-E-D-D-I-N or something.
Yeah.
So it's R-E-A-D, just to let you know.
No, it was just a podcast episode that I really enjoyed about local politics. And it's actually interesting because my buddy told me, Mitchell, thank you for listening. He was like, you should go listen to this podcast. And I was like, politics, not for me. Like, not going to eat that up. I'm not going to, it's not going to taste good. Because I'm not a big politics fan. I don't share my beliefs on politics. I don't, want to talk about it. Yeah. And I think recently I've started to like dive in deep and it's like, why do I feel like I don't want to talk about it? Why?
You've been jaded.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's part of it. Alicia's been like, well, why don't you want to share your beliefs or share your political views? And I'm like, I'm afraid that that's going to affect a potential client. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I shouldn't have to worry about that stuff, right? Yeah. And anyway, so today it was kind of like, it was a little step in that direction of like, hey, I really enjoyed this. I wasn't going to listen to it. I had almost a 3-hour drive this morning there and back again. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to this podcast and I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think Forrest is, right there with us in age. And
yeah, he's 36. He said on the podcast, Cody, I'm blanking on his name. Cody, the crude conversation. Yeah, Liska. Yeah. Yes. He's 32. He's like right there.
And I was like, we are just missing each other.
We must be, man. Anyways, I agree. We should get people on the podcast because I think that was the whole idea.
Yeah,
is like we don't know how to fix ourselves.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're trying to say is like go fix ourselves. Like we are trying.
We would have done it and not started a podcast if we could just do it. Jesus.
Yeah. So I think, we want to get people on here. We want to get.
Yeah. Eventually I'd like to have just interesting conversations.
Okay.
That's, at the end of the day.
What is like one or two or as many as you want? Like what topics are you thinking of? Like what interests you to talk about that is maybe something that you want to fix in your life? Or
I want to talk about politics,
religion,
taxes. No,
all the ones that in my head I'm like, yeah. I do want to talk about religion though, not religion. I do. I want to get into that, and I want to have like. I have a few ideas of people who I want to get in.
Yeah.
We should, here's an idea.
We should make a list.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But
not a kill list.
We'll start another Google Doc?
Yeah, we got to start a whole separate one.
Okay, yeah.
We don't want to get those names kind of crossed.
Kyle, you weren't supposed to kill him.
Yeah.
We were supposed to interview him.
Yeah.
Oh, I put him on the wrong list.
Yep.
Dang it.
That happens.
Yeah. More than you know.
I am about 4 inches deep into a new podcast about Alastair Crowley.
4 inches, that's more than usual, huh?
That's average. It's average. About Alastair Crowley and the satanic magic and all this stuff. I mean, Alastair Crowley is like the famous picture of like the guy with the pentagram. He's like the father of like Satanism in a way.
Yeah, I've heard his name. I don't know exactly.
Once, you grow up, speaking of religion, you grow up in the church and you're always like taught like Satanism's so bad and all this stuff. And you realize these guys are just like giant nerds.
Yeah.
Like they're like nerds.
Yeah.
You would make fun of them.
Oh.
Most likely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like we're taught that they're such like the baddest, evilest people in the world. And these are the guys, no offense, but that are playing Magic the Gathering in the corner at school. Like,
yep.
But with, tarot cards.
I mean,
and if that's your thing, all the more power to you.
I've played Magic.
Yeah,
before.
yeah. No,
I've also played D&D, which I'm a big fan of, but the commitment is too long.
I went to school for finance and I like golf. I'm a nerd in my own way.
Yeah, you nerd.
But I'm just saying it's like you fear what you don't know. Like if I told my parents that I was reading about Alastair Crowley in Satanism, they would be like, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
I remember when Exorcism of Emily Rose came out. Still have never seen this movie.
Really?
I think my parents, just put the fear of God in me.
Yep.
Still to this day. I was very interested, right? And this was before I started getting into scary movies.
Or just in that movie?
I think both. Because I'm like, what is this world? What is this world that I didn't know? I don't know anything about, right? And so this movie, one of the first, like besides The Exorcist, one of the first ones that made it really big into my eyes, which, I was very Christian growing up. And so like The Exorcism of Emily Rose was huge, right? And anyway, so I was interested in it. So I Googled it and went to the website. Now this is like, yes,
a different
but
name.
Also scared the daylights out of me because you went to the website and before it showed you anything, it was like the actual recording. That's what they played it off like. Don't know if it's the actual recording.
Yeah, it is of a very mentally ill girl, I believe.
Yes. Okay, so and they're saying like this is the exorcism is happening, and it's like it's for 15, 14-year-old Stephen, that was pretty petrifying.
Oh, yeah.
And so, anyways, I told my parents about that because it scared me. And they were like, you have to be very careful when it comes to that stuff. Like, that's letting evil
Don't dance
in.
with the devil.
Right. And to a point, I still kind of believe that as like you're looking into this stuff, you're like inviting something in. And I think,
For sure.
I don't know if that's like just years and years and years of like going through this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean...
Because this is what I'll say. I'll say it on the podcast right now.
Oh,
I would dance with the devil. We'd have a conversation. I don't care. And so if I ever become possessed, this is what you'll look back on and be like, that's, he asked for it.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about it.
Kyle, he was 27 when he sold his soul.
Yeah. And guess what it got me? Nothing. I'm not rich, woohoo.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's like, there's so many people in the world that like, think about the sickest people, like they want the devil in their life. And like, so like, it's like seeing a ghost. So many people want to see a ghost, but like, there's just not any proof anywhere.
No. And then like you watch the freaking paranormal
all that. Those guys do that for a living.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing they have is like a blurb on an audio recording. Like, wow. Did you hear that? He said, I'm over here. Like,
yeah.
It's just like,
I heard him.
Exactly. So like, there's so many people that want to have the devil in their life.
Interesting.
So
this conversation has gone from, hey, we're starting some new stuff with the podcast.
Nope.
Straight to devil worship.
I'm just saying, I've played with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. And it's just like.
I've never played with a Ouija board because I just watched I just finished the TV show 30 Coins.
Yeah.
On HBO. The Spanish show. So I had to watch it all in subtitles. Kept my attention every second of every episode.
No idea what the story was, but I kept my attention.
I loved it.
Right.
Because it is like, I'm going to give it away. I mean, it's a trailer. You can watch it in the trailer. Basically,
it's about the 30 coins
yes.
Judas
So like
Jesus
there are
for.
good things in the Christian religion as far as like Jesus' clothes, the tomb, stuff like that. Well, in this world of this show, there's a same pope, and but it's a dark pope. Instead of wearing black and a little bit of white, they wear all white and a little bit of black. Kind of cool. But they like the bad things from the Bible. Basically, the 30 coins that Judas betrayed Jesus with, the spear that stabbed Jesus when he was on the cross.
Okay.
Those kind of things, they're kind of like
fruit that.
Yeah. Now this is very like, it goes very against the Bible, but I just thought it was very interesting because it was like, it is a completely different take on all that stuff. And it got pretty effed up. Like I'm saying, if you're weak at heart, don't watch it. But I mean, for you,
right up my alley.
I think it kind of was, honestly. Yeah. Just hard when the Spanish and was like, all subtitles.
Subtitles don't bother me. Like I usually have subtitles on anyway for most shows because I'm keeping the volume so low with the baby sleeping and stuff. So I end up reading most stuff with the volume down.
Yeah, I have now recently become a subtitler.
And I feel like it also helps you understand what people say, like especially on scenes where maybe it's like an action movie where it's loud in one spot and quiet in the other.
A Christopher Nolan movie, maybe?
Yeah, you never miss what they're like saying. And
especially like Peaky Blinders where they have accents.
That's another one.
And then like it's funny because like my girlfriend is the one that was like started watching subtitles and I was like, oh come on, like I'm a purist, I want to watch a movie like I want to watch it with no distractions. Right. But then like we started watching movies with subtitles and I'm like, oh yeah, I missed that before. I had no idea they said that there because I was watching subtitles.
Exactly.
So I kind of enjoyed it, but Spanish, like I can't. I like to like sometimes be distracted and look at my phone or sketch or whatever. When it's in a completely different language, you have to be
locked in. Yeah. No. Jeez. I hate it. It just reminds me of something dirty. Like
I know. I think you said that last time too.
Anyways, before we move on to
we were talking about people we want to interview. We were talking about religion and we went to the anti-religion. We went to the anti-religion. You want to interview the devil?
Yeah. Ooh.
I don't want.
Which list would he be on? The kill list?
I don't even know. I'm not.
I do have to say
that darkness in
another podcast that I just started. I just gotta say this real quick.
Podcast on the or right?
No.
First podcast on the right.
My buddy Josh Wolf from down in Oregon, Caleb's brother, suggested this to me, and I just started listening to it, and I am hooked. And I just started listening to it.
What is it?
It's called The Apology Line. Are you familiar with this?
No.
So apparently, I've only been like 20 minutes in. In the 1980s, 81, this guy started a recording line, or like a message machine that you could anonymously call into and confess things.
Oh, I kind of.
So it's Wondery
I've
just
heard
made
of
it.
this.
Yeah, so people like confessed to shoplifting, cheating on spouses, all the way to like murder and like mugging people and all these dark things that people confess to. So it's very interesting because you anonymously, you just like, hey, you know, I'm sorry for what I did to this person. And he has the clips and he plays them to the public after. And that's what kind of the.
So this is the guy that actually had the.
Well, obviously,
or just like a storyteller.
It's a storytelling of this guy, and the whole premise was that you confess and don't leave anything, keep it anonymous, so that one day I will play all these tapes for people.
Oh, weird.
And it's very like.
Yeah, that's right
dark.
up your alley.
Right up my alley. Anyways,
I'm good. I don't need to listen to that.
I'm going to listen.
I like listening to like happy stuff sometimes.
Loser. My life is so happy that I need darkness sometimes.
What did we talk about last time? Not premeditated.
Yeah. Stoicism and
basically
negative visualization.
Yes, basically. Speaking of which, we should have talked about this in the beginning. How are you doing with your journaling challenge?
I looked at my journal this morning.
You looked at it?
I looked at it.
Just looked at it?
Didn't even open it.
No.
And you know what I said?
Really?
Hey, I'm not going to touch you.
You son of a bitch.
Well,
that's your journal talking.
This is my honesty. I was like, I have a video to put out. I have work to do.
Oh, man.
And
I'm bummed.
I know.
Did you do it once at least?
No.
Or no?
I opened it and looked through it.
Oh, man.
There's something about journaling I hate.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it's funny that you said it because I was talking to my girlfriend just last night, and telling and being like, we're doing this journaling challenge. I feel pretty good about it. Started a new journaling, routine kind of thing. Is like basically just blurb and then like answer 2 questions. One question is 3 things I'm grateful for, like we talked about, and then one thing is how is today going to be great. So I've been doing it in the morning. Used to doing it at night. But she was learning like the same exact thing from some random masterclass. It was just kind of weird because I was like, he's teaching you to journal because it's like he was like, that was like number 1. Like you should be journaling. Yeah. Same with almost, the stoic things I talked about
very
last
hot thing, right?
Yeah.
In the last couple.
And
of
I'm
years.
wondering if it's because there's actually something good we can take out of it, Kyle. That's what I'm trying to say. But here's the thing. I'm not trying to fix you. We're just trying to fix ourselves and like see what works. Yeah. I am enjoying this journaling challenge, I think. Even like, I'm just doing like 2 pages. Something very simple. And it takes me like 15 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. It really isn't that it's hard or anything like that. I think I'm just such a
pussy.
Well, that too. But I don't like looking at the past.
But see, that's not what I'm talking about. Today
it isn't, but
okay, let me I'm not going to read it. I don't have my journal in front of me, but let me talk to you about what I wrote in my journal today. Okay. Are you ready? Let me get you a little glimpse into here we go. Come with me and you'll be.
See, you're into other creepy stuff.
Of pure imagination.
I don't like Willy Wonka either.
Creepy movie.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
No, I love that movie, but definitely.
He's a pedophile.
Oh, Gene Wilder. Oh,
no.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. Neither here nor there.
Or a child murderer.
Journaling. Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
So today on my drive, so I had to drive out to Wasilla for a quick shoot, but it was like an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. And so on the way there, I was listening to that podcast, but I also liked sometimes, and this might make me crazy, I like to drive in silence. I also like to work in silence too. But it has to be like, there has to be some kind of white noise. So I have a fan on most of the time or a heater because it gets cold in this house. But sometimes I won't have any music playing, nothing, no podcast, just silence. And I'm just like kind of going around my thoughts. Today I was thinking, I was like, you know what? What's my longevity look like for my career? And it's like, what is, I'm not going to have these clients forever, even though I love my clients and I think, we work well together. They're not going to be around forever. And I was like, okay, like I want to have a family and, settle down some days. And so like for me, I was brainstorming that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, what does that look like? I want to keep doing what I'm doing, but how do I do that? And so today I got home, from the shoot, and before I even made lunch, I just journaled about it. And I kind of was like, seeing it out on paper, literally, you'll see in my journal entry, I'm not going to show you, but I came to the realization of like, oh, here's something to work for, besides all these like side hustles I'm trying to do or whatever, like my actual career path, because we're talking like a 5-year plan or something. It's like a good thing to work towards that could potentially be my full-time career. Right?
I was just picturing your journal, like stick figures and like penises.
He's making
and
fun
all
of me.
sorts of stuff. Like, look at this. I had this breakthrough this morning. Really?
Just a bunch of veiny penises.
Yeah. It's like, I do my best work in silence. These are prime time.
I get it. I don't appreciate you taking my serious moment. No, actually it wasn't that serious. But like, and that was what I took out of journaling today. I was like, oh, wow. And like literally I was like, oh, wow, in my journal. And so like it was like therapeutic to kind of get that out and think about the future, not the past. You know what I mean? The past is like, we've already been there. There's only a few fractions of life that I want to look back on. Good memories, absolutely. And I love to document, look back, absolutely. But I've learned everything I need to learn, from the past per se. Like, I think now it's like time to like learn more towards the future. Does that make sense? I don't know if it does.
Sort of. But, I'm not going to diss journaling like I don't see value to it because I could certainly.
So basically, I'm saying, and I'm interrupting, your excuse for I don't want to journal because I'm looking at the past too much is bullshit.
Well, I think a lot of people like to journal for something to reference later and look back on.
Possibly, yeah.
And
I think that's part of like when I was in Hawaii, I would journal like, here's what I did today, and here's the creative endeavor that I was working on that I got excited about, and here's why I got excited about it. I journaled, when my band went over to UK, we went, me and my brother and Mason. We've talked about him before, both of them. We went, to Europe basically for a month and a half and just like traveled around. I kept an iPhone journal every day. And there were some days where I was like super intoxicated. Mm-hmm. And and like
this is a video podcast.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I made the smoking like.
Speaking of dancing with the devil and his lettuce.
Devil's lettuce. But I remember this one journal entry from Rome, and I was like, we had maybe toked on the devil's lettuce a little bit, and I was just, having my good old time in my bunk. And I just was like writing down what was happening in the room. And we had a roommate, hostile, right? Didn't know what was, and he was being very weird, walking around in his underwear. And imagine me being like, pretty darn high and like just being weirded out by this guy who I just met minutes ago. And he's like being like, oh yeah, I was hanging out with the Kardashians. And I'm like, that kind of feeling. And he's walking around in his underwear and I'm like, well, what are you doing here? So I'm journaling this whole experience. I was reading that not too long ago and I was like, that was kind of funny. It's a really funny, like the entry, because it's just my thoughts. Just like, I didn't like guard myself of what I was thinking. I just started writing, and I was like, "That's kind of cool."
Yeah, there's value to it. I just feel like I do a good job of keeping my journal in my head.
There's too much in my head. I need to get it out.
Well, I have a lot in my head.
Yeah, get it out.
But I feel like it helps my memory. Is like purposely trying to remember stuff. I don't know. I think my brain is pretty sharp in terms of memory.
I think your brain is sharp.
Yeah. I mean, it's not obviously sharp enough
to
remember everything.
Yeah.
But
Well, so are you even going to try to do this journaling challenge?
I mean, I have to try.
Kyle, you have to do it at least once.
Do or do not. There is no try.
You know what? If you don't,
you get to kick me.
That should be a thing. There should be like, we do the challenge, and if you totally skunk it, you don't do it once. Well, maybe like, I don't know. We got to talk about that, the rules or whatever. But like,
junk punch.
Yeah, if you don't give it at least a good, solid try, then there's got to be some repercussions.
Yeah. The problem is you're going to have a lot of people cheering for me not to do it.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like that, talk about changing a podcast. People would listen in, just be like, did they do it?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm not just saying you won't do it. I'm just saying there was one time we gave each other a challenge on Instagram Live when we were doing what we're doing now, but like on Instagram Live.
Sure.
It was read a book.
I think it was read like whatever it was.
I think it was read an entire book in a week. And first off, that's the problem with challenges. We went way too big in that one. We need to start real small. We need to journaling a page a day, not a very hard task. But
I'm going to find the smallest paper.
I'm okay with that. At least you journal. Even if you keep like a one note in your iPhone or whatever, I don't know. I think there's something powerful about journaling, clearly. But also, I do like the idea of repercussions.
Yeah.
So if you don't give it the old college try, then the other person, if there's actually one that we both don't do, like we have to go do something. Like we have to go strip down to our boxers and do a snow angel outside. And we have to film it and post it. Or something like that. Something like that I don't want to do that.
I want to do that.
You sick bastard.
I like cold stuff.
Yeah, you do. You sicko. I don't know, but we got to think that through. If there's someone listening is like...
some punishments.
Yeah, some punishments or whatever. I think that's not a bad idea.
I do like shame and punishment.
Shame.
That's what drives me to do a lot of things. Is I like not being...
Is that what you tell Molly?
Yeah. She hasn't caught on to that one yet. I'm more into like example, like when you fail, I want people to make fun of me because that's encouragement to not fail.
Oh, see, that's horrible.
No, for some people it is. Definitely.
Yeah,
some people can't handle it. I need to know that if I don't accomplish something that I want, for instance, like the fasting or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
We've talked about this.
Yes,
yeah.
I need negative consequences for not accomplishing what I said I would do.
Yeah.
So I'm all game for that stuff.
I like that. But also at the same time, yes, this is more like a gimmick for the podcast. Like, come listen to see if Kyle and Steven can actually do the challenge. And if they don't, they get to...
Kyle's going to treat Steven's coin purse like a speed bag.
I was going to say, Kyle gets to kick his dick off.
Yeah. That would be fun. I would give
you
you
my
the
dick
old,
off?
Oh, Ronaldo just whack.
But the thing is, we have to film it and we have to post it.
Oh, we'd put some 120 frames per second slow-mo I'd put on my soccer cleats.
It's got to be some cool cinematic music in the background, too.
It would be epic. I don't know if it'd be horses.
Galloping?
Yeah.
I don't know why I went there, actually.
I don't, but it would definitely be a banger.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's talk about, we have, 15 minutes left in this podcast.
I think we should talk about what I mentioned about starting a podcast. Because
you want to start another you son of a bitch. This is our last episode, guys. We made it 5 more than last time.
The second one's Go Fix Your Friends. Third one's
oh my God.
Go Fix Your Dad.
You just came up with a whole... Oh my God. Like Tim Ferriss has the 4-hour work week, 4-hour body, 4-hour chef.
Exactly.
We have the Go Fix
line. And then the last one is
that's actually not bad.
Is called Mother Fixers.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a lot of
what if that was like the people that listen to this podcast? Because like there's a...
Mother Fixers?
I don't know. Maybe that's a little too weird.
Yeah. It's kind of got a weird...
What's
sounds
up,
weird.
Fixers?
Mother Fixer?
Okay, tell me what you want to talk about. Starting a podcast.
this podcast, like we've talked about, we don't really know
First
all
podcast
the details.
on the right.
Yes, yep. We don't really know where it's headed per se, other than we enjoy doing this.
Yeah.
We enjoy the process. We have a set time where we're like, let's meet every blah, 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 get our podcast done. And we have a structure that we're building.
Yeah.
And it's going to become more polished as we go on.
Absolutely. It already is. I mean, like.
Yeah. We got a freaking camera up.
Yeah. I mean, we are doing it.
Yeah.
We are doing
Cody,
it.
did you hear that? But we are coming. But the idea is that we're building something. We're not sure what it is yet.
Yeah.
And we are brainstorming, and I think we're flexing our mental muscles.
I think that's the beauty of it, is like we're literally talking about our process, because it's like we do see this going somewhere, we just don't know where. So we're sharing that.
Yeah.
Being open.
And so I know there's a lot of people out there that are passionate about sharing stuff with other people, whether that's, they're passionate about fitness. Like I think of Chris Bryant. We talk a lot of brainstorming ideas about
Chris
fitness.
Bryant is your trainer.
Yes. And
the people listening want to know.
Yeah, they already know who Chris Bryant is.
I think we've talked about him.
Yeah. And so you have, I come across people that are very passionate about different things, and they're not sure what they should do. Some people on how to like spread that or maybe build a clientele or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it's like starting a podcast is a relatively very simple thing to do nowadays.
Oh, so you're telling these people to start a podcast?
Start a podcast. And I'm saying that because even though, like, you may look at me and Steven, I'm talking, Cody, I'm talking to you. We're kind of a train wreck sometimes where we talk about all sorts of things and whatever, but this is a great lesson in, establishing a time that you're going to create content. We're going to go through the processes of uploading it, and you never know what it could turn into down the road.
That is true. I mean, talk about...
Think of our time commitment in each week to this podcast.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's not a lot.
No, it's definitely not. And
Right.
even like, so I've started to make little graphic posts for our Instagram and stuff. That didn't take me long at all.
Right.
Right. And I was like, why haven't I fucking been doing this before?
It's just because it's not like, I don't know. That's one thing that I'm saying is like, for instance, take somebody that's interested in something, trading cards.
Yeah.
There is a hot market for you to start a podcast through Anchor on your phone and talk about hot, trendy cards.
That's
like
a good,
something you're passionate about.
That's a good point, because it reminds me of like, first off, I got a few things, but one is like I listened to this designer guy for a while, and he's had his own podcast. He did it on Anchor, and he would like do it in his car on the way to the studio. And he would just be like, hey guys, this is what I'm thinking for today. Like, I've been thinking about this idea, blah, 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 blah. And, that's what he would do. He just hooked up his headphones to Anchor, the Anchor app.
Yeah.
And that was it. And like literally you could hear traffic. And it wasn't like you had to have really good quality sound microphones and a computer. It's like, we do have that, but like, you don't need that.
Yeah, we're compensating.
Well, I think it's just because I have had this stuff. Except for like, the one mic. We had to buy an extra mic.
Right. But like you're saying, is like you can do it as low budget as you want or as high budget, but like find something you're super passionate about. Like Molly was watching the Free Britney documentary.
Dude, that was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. The Britney Graham girls.
Yeah, they started a podcast talking about
Britney's Instagram.
Yeah, like codes that she could be sending.
Like what?
And now they're on a freaking
good sound effect.
I agree. I've been working on it.
I can't.
I'm a Foley artist now too. I'm starting a podcast about Foley artists. It's just sounds. But they were. I don't know. They were nobodies, and then they made this podcast about Instagram.
I know. So I was immediately infatuated with that documentary when we watched it.
Right.
And then I went to their Instagram, and then they had just released that they are doing like a new podcast with a huge podcast production company.
Yeah.
And so it was like, now they're podcasters. Like that's what they're probably going to be doing for their life
because they
now.
were talking about something they were passionate about, but like almost in a joking, like in a fun, not a joke. Sorry.
I think they were
like
actually very concerned about her.
Maybe they weren't. Like they could say whatever they want. But,
yeah, that's a good point.
Like
Did you watch that documentary then?
In and out of it.
See, dude, I was hooked.
I
actually thought of you because I was like, oh, this is right up Kyle's alley because it's like, almost
Britney
like
Spears.
Yeah.
Oops. I watched it again.
No, it was like it almost had like this true.
It did have a true
feel.
crimey feel.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they embellished some of the things,
right.
But like some of the things that they caught on camera, people like interviews for that documentary, I was like, oh damn, you just said this, but that contradicted what. Oh, I was like playing detective, man.
It was
what was that? Framing Britney,
something
right?
like that.
Yeah,
whatever it was,
worth the watch, I think.
Yeah. But like that's what I'm saying is like you never know what like I'm just trying to think of a random person, they might like watching football or maybe they're interested in yoga or like just doing something that they love and it's like you should talk about it because not only does it make you learn more about it because you don't want to sound like an idiot, so you kind of continue to learn about it.
Okay.
You also can network with other people that are in that same world.
I do think you're onto something, but I do have.
Do you have questions?
Sir, got a question. What about someone who's not confident in front of, like, speaking?
Speaking?
Yeah. Well, because, so for me, I'm like, I'm not going to do that by myself.
Sure.
It was easier
maybe
to
find a
It's
friend.
easier to have a conversation about,
Right.
whatever the fuck we're talking about. I think that's what's kind of I'm thinking about. It's like there's probably people out there like, oh, that's all cool, Kyle, but like
you're right.
It is. that doesn't help me.
Well,
what do you say to those people?
Go fix yourself.
Oh,
no.
You're telling other people to fix themselves? I think you got to fix yourself first.
I'll fix myself too. Yes, I mean, obviously, audio is not everybody's strong suit.
Right.
But if you go onto Clubhouse, there is no shortage of people that are bad speakers that still feel like they should share their 2 cents.
That is a good point. That's a good point.
Yes, there is some people that are self-aware that they're like, oh, I'm not a good speaker. I don't have any confidence to do this.
So here's another thing, and this can be pertained to a lot because I've been throwing around the idea of starting a new YouTube channel.
Right.
It exhausts me to even think about it, but I'm going to do this stuff. I might as well just make videos of me, making videos is basically what I'm doing.
Making videos of you making videos.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, but there's a lot of people who do it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
that do it better
noise out
and
there
that do it worse.
Yep.
That's just life when there's 7-8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay, I have something to say to those people, but also what were you going to say?
I'm just saying like, yeah, that may not be your strong suit or anything like that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it or try it. Like working out is not my strong suit. Getting fit is not me. But I'm still doing it because I want to embrace uncomfortability. I want to do something different. I want to change stuff and acquire new skill sets.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily a podcast, but I do think you should get outside your comfort zone.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So, yes, I do like the idea of getting out of your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be a podcast. The one thing I heard not too long ago is we are still in the infant stages of the internet. If you think about it, it's only been, literally, it started since we both been born.
Yeah, yeah.
And imagine what the internet's going to look like in 50 years.
It's dead. It dies. It's got the same life as a person. It's got 85 years.
Man.
It's done.
Well, we got to enjoy that.
Yeah,
shit, clearly.
Nobody else does.
But see, the thing is, it's like that. In my head, yes, of course, the internet's going to keep living on. It's going to keep growing. It's going to get crazier and crazier and crazier and changing. And there's going to be new things that come out all the time. Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse are probably going to go away someday, like unless they can hold on. But in my head, like in 50, 100 years, the internet's probably still going to be here. And so it's like, instead of just saying like, go make a podcast, it's like, it could be a blog. It could be videos. It could be pictures.
It could be a Pinterest board.
What do you want? I'm a big sucker for creating art and sharing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think for me, I get validation from it, but I also like see that as like it helps my process by like getting it out there to people, right? And it's like I can't really explain it, but it just like it fulfills a need in me to share something that I created. Look at what I have made.
Yeah,
I don't know why I just sound like Bane right there.
Yeah,
did just watch that movie the other night though.
That's a good one.
Look at what I've made.
It was a great voice, but subtitles, you need them.
Yeah, with him. Well, Christopher Nolan movies. I did say that earlier. It was like Tenet. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
No, I haven't.
It's a good movie to a point. Like,
yeah,
I think I need to watch it about 17 more times. But yeah, you got to use subtitles.
So let me ask you this, because you kind of referenced the internet in like 100 years.
Yeah.
Do you care about being remembered after you're dead? Your legacy? Like, what if I told you could make $100,000 a year for the rest of your life for your art now and never be remembered?
Oh, that's good. I like
nothing.
This is a good way to end this podcast.
Yeah. Or be poor your whole life, but like live and you will be remembered for the next 10,000 years, like as one of the greats of all time.
See, the thing is, I think I would rather
take the 100K.
Yeah. Because in my head, I'm like it unless I do know for sure, like that will help my kids and my grandkids. And now if that's the case, then yeah, absolutely, I will be poor. Knowing that my like legacy will live on and it'll help my
So you're going to spoil the kids? They're not going to have to work?
Absolutely.
I'm
just kidding.
Steven.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I don't know. That's where my head goes.
I always think about that because I'm like, what do you know?
But
like
if it's just me, yeah, absolutely. I want the 100,000 now.
Yeah, it's
100,000 even isn't that much money, but like
no. That's what I mean. It's like enough that keeps you happy
for a bit
for your life.
Yeah.
Well, 100,000 a year for
for 100,000 a year.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I missed that part. I thought you just said $100,000, and I was like, okay,
make like 5, 50, whatever you want.
That would be okay. I'd be
yeah. But as soon as you die, everybody forgets you. I feel like it's way better because then you have to introduce.
As soon as literally, I just pictured this like, I die, old age or whatever, and then like literally every memory that anyone's ever had of me just disappears out of my head.
Alicia's like, finally.
Wow, wait, what have I been doing with myself? I should go find a guy.
What have I been doing?
Everything just went black in my head.
Yeah. But, I think there's a big, like Gary Vee always talks about legacy. Like he cares more about legacy. But I almost feel like that's bull.
I know.
Like he does. But I think that's your marketing is that like, I don't care about money now. I only care about my legacy. Like, well, yeah. Yeah. Well, then, give away all your money then, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But legacy is a big thing to most people. Like,
I know. And I think that's one thing that like, yeah, of course I do want to be remembered. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if
but like what do I want to be remembered for? I have no idea.
Yeah. I always think of Troy. The movie, when it's like, I would never want to fight that man. He's so big, and that's why no one will remember your name.
Yeah, I know.
What a burn on that kid. Like that kid just, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll go kill myself. I could picture myself like insulting a child.
Yeah.
But like that was harsh.
Yeah, it was very harsh. I love that movie.
Great movie. He comes and wakes him up and he's like, in the tent with like 2 chicks, right?
Yeah.
And so the kid's like, what's going on? It's the biggest man I've ever seen. I would never fight him. That's why no one will remember you, little kid.
You stupid idiot. Yeah. Great movie. I did enjoy that movie. Okay, well, I think, so you're thinking no legacy. You don't care?
I don't know. I drive a legacy.
Because clearly, like if you had $100,000 every year till you die,
yeah.
Now, say you live another, 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, you got great money,
Yeah, so your kids. I mean, that technically, unless you like, there is some magical spell that like once you die, nobody remembers you. Like even your kids are like, wow, we have a lot of money. We don't know where it came from.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like the whole legacy thing where
I guess I get comfort in like knowing that my name will live on, and it hurts me when they're like. There's a movie and it's like the last person died who remembered this person or whatever. And like, it was like, ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty
like,
dark when you start thinking about it. But it's like, if you do have a great legacy, like I feel like you have to let other things happen for enough people to remember you, like a Steve Jobs or somebody.
Yeah.
Great legacy. Maybe not the greatest guy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right? And so
I mean,
like
that's
the balance.
You gotta be mean to get places sometimes.
Yeah, I think in a lot
I would say look at most of the people that are successful.
Yeah, you got to burn some bridges.
You mean that we know of? I know Elon Musk, like probably pretty intense.
Oh yeah, I'm
and
sure
like
he's
very,
a real dickhead.
Like he just speaks his mind.
Yeah,
he doesn't give a fuck. Like, and so I think those are the kind of people that are successful, where they just like don't care, and then their name is going to live on.
Yeah, I just always wonder, like, you know, were they good husbands? Were they good dad? Because like, would you rather be like a good husband, dad, or like a legacy?
Yeah. Okay. That's a question, and I think my head goes on like, if I am a good husband and dad, my legacy will live on.
Right, through those 3 people, 2-3 people.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a brain buster, because you just usually don't build a legacy without like being bad in other areas of your life. Like in bad in the sense
potentially
not as accomplished.
But you're also like, there's a lot of people who have built legacy and they've provided a lot of value.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's some people that have done it well.
Tell us, everybody listening, mom,
would
dad,
you rather be rich and die, or would you rather be poor and leave the best legacy in the world that people remember you?
Man, that's like, even just you saying that right there, I was like, that sounds awesome. Like I would die and feel comforted being like,
you wouldn't feel anything after you die.
I mean, just like I would die feeling comforted about that. Like knowing that was going to happen is like,
but you wouldn't know it would happen. That's the problem.
But you're guaranteeing me. Yeah. You're the wizard.
He's the guy that danced with the devil.
Yeah, you're the guy that has the wand and is,
Stephen, I talked to
the guy in the bottle.
Yeah, that's what, on your deathbed.
Genie in a bottle. That's
now,
you.
Christina Aguilera.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
On your deathbed, I'll be, Stephen, I talked to the devil. Your legacy is A-okay. We got you. We got you, bud. That's why I'm still young.
And then I die, and you're like,
oh, fingers crossed. That son he didn't even know.
I'm not dead, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he was blind. I was just waving in front of his face. What an idiot. I would do that.
Yeah, I know you would.
So,
that's why we're a good
15.
Team. Yeah, episode 15
is
all over the place.
We're
like, hey, let's tighten the shit up, and then we're like,
it's baby steps. We brought a camera in.
I'm a Foley artist.
We brought in a camera. Baby steps.
Yeah, we did.
So take notes. Any other Alaska podcasts?
You
know who you are.
And cut.
Thank you for checking out another episode of Go Fix Yourself podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go check us out on all streaming platforms. Tell a friend. Leave a review. And Stephen, where else can they find us?
I would love them to go check out patreon.com/GoFixYourself podcast. Now, Patreon is a platform for just a couple of bucks. You can help support your favorite creators and get early access to episodes from this podcast.
And as always,
go fix yourself.